No question. There's no failure in sports. You know, there's good days, bad days. Some days you are able to be successful, some days you're not. Some days it's your turn, some days it's not your turn. And that's what sports is about. You don't always win.
He's not supposed to be on the court. He's not supposed to be on the court.
Giannis talked to him. Forget all that.
No, he was on the court.
So what?
You think he said something? He probably know who his dad is.
Stop it. Giannis said something.
No, because he's on the court in his face.
So what? Everybody on the court.
No, you can't do that.
Yeah, you can.
No, you cannot do that.
Giannis said something to him.
I'm happy for him, and I'm happy for his son, and I'm happy that he's happy for his son. That's how you're supposed to feel. But coming to me and disrespecting me and cursing at me, I think is totally unacceptable. Totally unacceptable. Okay? And
Welcome back to your daily dose of scandal and glamour. Let's spill the tea on today's biggest celebrity stories. Giannis didn't just speak up. He straight up flamed Shaq and Tyrese Haliburton's dad on live TV, and it was wild. This all popped off after one of the craziest scenes the league's seen in a minute. Picture this. Emotions flying. The Bucks lose a nail-biter to the Pacers 119-118 in Game 5, and with just 1.3 seconds on the clock, out of nowhere, Tyrese Haliburton's dad, John, storms the court like he's about to sub in. No joke, no security, no hesitation, just marches right up to Giannis in his face, waving a towel with Tyrese's picture like it's some victory parade. Now here's the part that had the whole internet buzzing. Giannis, he's standing there, heated, hands on his hips, trying to process that tough loss. When this dude walks up talking crazy, at first, Giannis didn't even clock who he was. He said, "I thought he was just a fan." But then it hit him. It's Tyrese's dad, standing on the hardwood, taunting him like this is WWE. And what made it worse? Shaq went on air defending it. Like seriously? Giannis wasn't having none of it. He let Shaq know straight up, "You're not gonna gaslight me into thinking I'm the problem." That's word-for-word energy he brought. 'Cause let's be real, a grown man storming the court to mock a player with his son's face on a towel? That ain't passion. That's flat-out disrespect. And Shaq co-signing that nonsense? Giannis had no choice but to shut it down. This wasn't just a basketball moment, it was straight-up madness. "This what we do!" That's what Tyrese's dad yelled while waving that towel in Giannis's face. Total disrespect. But this ain't just some sideline trash talk. It went way deeper. Giannis held back, but the message was loud. He said, "I don't want to drop all the details. I don't want to be a snitch." Then added, "I come from the hood. If I open my mouth on what really happened, you already know that's code for something serious." He was hinting heavy. Court cases, league investigations, maybe even bans. Giannis didn't even have to spell it out. Just that vibe alone told us this went way past the NBA's Play Nice rulebook. And here's where things get real messy. While fans were blasting Haliburton's dad for acting like an out-of-control groupie, Shaq jumped on inside the NBA and tried to brush it off like it was nothing. He said the man always runs on the court and he just celebrating, let him have his moment. Excuse me? Shaq even doubled down and called Giannis soft for being upset. Said it was stupid to be offended by a dad being hyped. That's when fans turned on Shaq hard. Social media lit up. Even Tyrese himself had to admit his dad went too far. He said, "I don't think my pops was in the right at all there. Real talk. That was unfortunate." Boom. Straight from the sun. Tyrese even told reporters straight up, "He needs to let me play and stay in his seat. I'll come to him if we win." Boom. That's how a grown man handles family overstepping. No sugarcoating, no excuses. Tyrese didn't defend his dad for 1 second, and that earned him major respect from fans and players alike. After the chaos, the Pacers held a private sit-down and made it crystal clear, John Haliburton is done attending games. No more home seats, no road games either. Banned. And get this, he agreed. Man's officially not allowed to watch his own son play live for the foreseeable future. Now here's the part that slipped under the radar unless you really dig. Some fans are claiming Tyrese's mom might have laid hands on Giannis. Yup, you heard that right. Go run the tape back. That lady standing behind John, viewers swear they saw her swing on Giannis during all the commotion. And it wasn't no cheer or pat on the back either. Was it on purpose? No one knows for sure, but let's be honest. If this was anyone else's mom, the headlines would have been screaming, "Family attacks Giannis." But Giannis? He kept it so cool, he even gave John a thumbs up as they walked away. After being clowned, mocked, and maybe even touched, he still held it down with class. But nah, it didn't stop there. Shaq came back the next night on Inside the NBA and doubled down like this was a hill he was ready to die on. When Ernie asked him to explain why he kept defending that madness, Shaq didn't back off. Instead, he raised his voice and got real defensive. Chuck and Kenny tried to cool things down, but Shaq? He bulldozed right over both of them, like he always does when he knows he's wrong but too stubborn to backtrack. You could see Ernie's face, looking all kinds of uncomfortable, like, is Shaq really out here defending somebody storming the court? And the internet ate him up immediately. One user dropped, not even sure what point Shaq's trying to make. Haliburton's dad was wrong. Everybody agrees. What exactly is Shaq defending here? Another clapped back with, Shaq's ego too big. This ain't about Haliburton's dad. He just trying to flex on Giannis for getting emotional. But the coldest comment, Shaq loud and wrong per usual. If Giannis had kicked Haliburton's dad, people would have said, he's just a fan. He shouldn't have been on the court. Boom. Reddit, Twitter, YouTube, everywhere you looked, folks were dragging Shaq. And just when it couldn't get worse, they started pulling receipts. People brought up that old clip where Shaq himself admitted to punching 5 different people across 6 teams during his career. Yeah, he said that. Meanwhile, Giannis didn't run to a podcast, didn't drop shady posts. He stayed patient, then made it known. Being humble doesn't mean being quiet. Fans started connecting the dots. Some say this was Giannis sending a message loud and clear. You don't run this league no more. And that hit different. Stop protecting clowns. That's what fans been screaming after watching Shaq go out bad trying to defend Haliburton's dad. Let's not forget, Shaq once said Giannis was better than he ever was at 24, and the internet never let him live that down. Now fast forward, Giannis is not just a finals MVP. He's one of the most respected names in the league, with 0 drama attached. And guess what? Shaq's energy switched up. It's looking real salty these days. Some fans on X even said it straight. Shaq needs help. That take age like milk. It's giving jealousy, heavy. Cause the love Giannis gets from the new generation, it's deep. And Shaq, he's used to being the loudest voice in the room. Not the one getting drowned out. But this ain't new. Giannis been biting his tongue for years just to keep the peace. Always respectful, never chasing headlines, never throwing shade online. But now, he's done being quiet. That whole towel incident with Haliburton's dad, that crossed a line, and Giannis felt it on a personal level. Let's rewind real quick. Back in 2021 when the Bucks won the chip, what did the media say? Giannis got lucky. They called it a fluke, said he only won because KD's foot was too big for the line. Imagine that. Man drops 50 in a finals closeout and they still doubted him. So when Giannis said, I come from the hood, I don't want to be a snitch, that wasn't just a random comment. That was pressure built up for years, and now it's exploding. Man, that line hit hard, because that wasn't some polished, media-trained Giannis. That was real Giannis. The Giannis who used to hustle watches on the street, who shared a bed with all his brothers, who had to pass sneakers around just to play. People forget, this man came up through real struggle. Back in Greece, Giannis dealt with poverty, racism, and the constant threat of being deported. So when he said, if I speak on what happened, there'll be lawsuits, believe him. He meant something serious went down on that court. Haliburton's dad probably said or did something so reckless, it would have exploded way past the NBA. Some fans are even speculating racial slurs might have been involved. And honestly, wouldn't be shocking. But here's what's even crazier. No fines, no league statement, no new security measures, nothing. If that had been a random fan pulling that stunt, banned for life. But because it was a player's dad, silence. Let's be real. Dude ran straight at a franchise star and got in his face during live national coverage. That's assault if it happens anywhere else. But because it happened to Giannis, and he kept his cool, the league just shrugged it off like it was no big deal. Now imagine if Giannis had snapped, pushed John Haliburton, or even just yelled back. You think they'd still be calling him classy? No way. The media would have torn him apart. ESPN, Bleacher Report, Fox Sports, all of them would have spun it into something ugly. And that's where Shaq's logic crumbles again. Like we said before, Shaq admitted to putting hands on people throughout his career. But somehow, Giannis is soft for keeping his composure. Make it make sense. Let's not forget, Shaq bullied JaVale McGee for a whole year straight. Ran a full-on segment mocking the dude on Inside the NBA. Week after week, just clowning him like it was personal. But the moment Charles Barkley made one little joke about Shaq's weight, suddenly it was too far? Yeah, okay, Shaq picks who he rides for, and Giannis clearly ain't on that list. It's giving real, I protect stars who stroke my ego energy. But if you shine too bright or challenge the narrative, he'll try to dim you. This whole mess opened people's eyes to how deep the double standards run with the old heads in the league. Giannis stays quiet, they say he's boring. Ja speaks up, they say he's out of control. Steph gets labeled arrogant. LeBron gets hated for being calculated. But Haliburton's dad storms the court like a toddler in Vegas, and they call it passion? Stop it. Now the dust should have settled by now. But this Giannis versus Shaq versus Haliburton family drama just won't fade. And the NBA staying silent, that's only pouring more gas on the fire. After getting dragged all across the internet, John Haliburton finally released a public apology. I sincerely apologize to Giannis, the Milwaukee Bucks, and the Pacers organization for my actions following tonight's game. This was not a good reflection on our sport or my son, and I will not make that mistake again. Sounds clean, right? Neat, polished, but fans weren't buying it at all. Too little, too late. People said it felt more like PR damage control than a real apology. And now, the league's being forced to face a bigger question. Is it finally time to rethink how they handle fan behavior, even when it's coming from someone's family? They said it plain. John Haliburton stormed the court like he was the 13th man off the bench, got in Giannis's face after a brutal playoff loss, waved a towel in mockery, allegedly cursed him out on national TV, then tried to walk it all back with an, "Oops, my bad." Yeah, nah, that wasn't an apology. That was straight up PR cleanup. Let's be real. The only reason he said sorry was because the Pacers told him he couldn't show up anymore. Period. And right after that statement dropped, the Pacers confirmed it. John Haliburton is banned from all games moving forward, both home and away. So was it from the heart or just classic damage control? This whole saga exposed something deeper. Just how soft the league has gotten when it comes to court security. If this had been some random dude from the crowd, he'd be tackled, dragged out, banned for life, and probably in handcuffs by halftime. But because it's a player's dad, he gets a slap on the wrist and a take a break from courtside pass? Wild. The NBA's pretending like this ain't a major safety issue. But what happens next time when an overhyped parent does something worse? What happens when it ain't just taunting, but touching, pushing, or worse? This isn't just about Giannis anymore. It's about the standard. The next fan that crosses the line, they'll point right back at this moment and say, well, Haliburton's dad did more and got away with it. And let's talk about Shaq. His brand used to be legendary, but now he's coming off like the goofy uncle of NBA media. Still funny, still loved, but this situation showed a whole different side of him. And fans noticed. People ain't used to seeing someone protect straight-up disrespect just because it fits their own narrative. But that's exactly what Shaq's been doing. And fans are finally calling it out. Now, since Giannis said he wouldn't spill the full story of what went down on that court, the internet's been piecing it together on their own. And some of the theories floating around? Heavy. There's talk that a racial slur might have been used, which would explain why Giannis brought up his roots and said, I come from the hood. Some even claimed the Bucks were ready to press charges, but Giannis told them to stand down. Again, all speculation, but with how silent the NBA's been, fans are going wild with theories. And real talk? This whole mess might end up forcing the league to tighten up court rules. Don't be shocked if they drop new family seating policies, start cracking down on post-game chaos, and roll out stricter security protocols. Because if the NBA doesn't act soon, they're basically telling the world that anybody can run up on a star player and get away with it. And Giannis, he's sitting back watching all of it. Let's break it down. He was ambushed right after a heartbreaking playoff loss. Haliburton's dad got in his face, waved a towel, and possibly cursed him out. And Giannis, he kept it cool, held his ground, but still made it clear he's not the one to play with. Meanwhile, Shaq defended the wrong dude and doubled down even when fans and the media pushed back. And Tyrese Haliburton, even he said his dad was out of line. The Pacers banned him from games, and the NBA, they stayed dead silent, like they're just hoping this whole thing fades away. But it won't, because Giannis said what needed to be said. This was disrespectful. I come from the hood. I don't want to snitch, but don't push me. That one line shook the whole league, and it should have. No PR filter, no sugarcoating, just truth. And when Giannis speaks like that, you know it's real. The silence from the top only made the moment louder. This wasn't just about a court storm, it was about respect, boundaries, and how far is too far. So let's talk about it. Was Shaq way out of pocket for defending Haliburton's dad? Should Giannis have gone even further? And did the NBA fumble the bag by not stepping in? Smash that like button if you're here for the real talk. Drop your thoughts in the comments. No fluff, just facts. And hit subscribe, cause we're not done yet. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to stay in the loop with all the latest tea. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an update, and I'll catch you in the next video.